recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivial Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivial Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Chris.
Yo, we going down to Sesame Street.
That's your impression of hardcore rap?
Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list. Oh my God.
You were like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
And the rest of the Trivial Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trivial Warfare. We are the podcast that takes the pub quiz out of the pub and brings it home to you. My name is Jonathan, and I am here today with Carmela Smith. Hello, Carmela.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back.
You.
I'm here today with Zahkia Mendoza.
Hello, Jonathan. Hello, friends.
And we have two fantastic guests today. Eric Sutherland is with us today. Hey, Eric.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Fantastic. And Addy Lewis is with us today. Hello, Addy.
Hello. Thank you for having me back on the show. Great to be here.
Hello. Okay, I want to get to know both of you a little bit better. Eric, we'll start with you. Can you tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Eric Sutherland. I'm from the Frost-Bitten Havens, just outside of Toronto, Canada. And something fun about myself is that if you were to ask me that question in 2 months, my answer would be, I'm in Paris, France.
Ooh, what's prompting our trip to Paris, and when should I pack?
It is not a trip. It is a full-on move of me and my family.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's pretty cool,
my.
man.
That's awesome. So tell us about it. What's going on? How's this happening?
Okay, so if I go back and do a little bit of storytelling, I started listening to you guys right at the beginning, back in 2016. And then I was between jobs, just discovering what I wanted to do with my life. And then I decided that I really wanted to focus on health, really had this odd passion for trying to get data to be used. And then over the span of the last 6 years, I've had roles in Ontario, had roles in Canada, and now I'm going to have a role working for an international organization around health data.
Whoa.
And I will say, you guys have been with me the whole way through.
I love it. And now you can evangelize France for us so they can hear us picking on them, because we do not like the French. Oh, we hate the French. Oh, the French.
What? The French fries?
No, I love French fries. It's an American invention, French fries.
Belgian,
you're right.
Yeah.
I don't want to besmirch the great name of the Belgish people. What the hell? What are they? Belgians. That's better.
Flemish? Flams?
Finnish? No.
The opinions of Jonathan Oakes does not represent the opinions of the rest of the cast of Trivial Warfare.
Honestly, and the opinions of Jonathan Oakes are usually made up for the sake of entertainment at any given point in time. Don't take me seriously unless I'm being serious, which I'm not. That's really freaking cool, Eric. I'm happy for you. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. It's going to be a heck of an adventure. My 13-year-old daughter is excited and totally and utterly freaked out.
I can only imagine.
To be honest, I'm totally freaked out.
I can only imagine. But can you imagine being a 13-year-old girl being told, hey, you're going to move to Paris for high school?
Yeah.
Freaking awesome.
Her requirement of me was, Dad, if you're doing this move, you're staying there for the entirety of high school. That is the absolute requirement. So message received, going to make sure it happens.
A teenage girl moving to Paris is the plot of a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, I'm sure.
Has to be.
She's going to love it.
That's fantastic. Okay, and Addy, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Also going to sound a lot less impressive compared to Eric's amazing story. Hi, I'm Addy. If the accent doesn't give it away, I'm Scottish. By day, I'm a government spreadsheet monkey doing admin stuff for local government. By night, I do lots and lots of online trivia. I'm in like a dozen different online quiz leagues. famous people apparently know who I am before I've met them. Something fun. Well, everyone obviously knows I'm Scottish. Fewer people are aware that I spent a large part of my childhood down in England. And so the truest form of my natural accent is, in spite of what you might think, actually this English one, which I'm capable of switching between completely seamlessly with my Scottish one. But I've never actually really used my English accent on the podcast before, or any podcast. So curious to see what it sounds like. So for the majority of this episode, I'm actually going to be using my natural English accent rather than my Scottish one.
So can we start? Has it already started? Because I'm bad with accents.
It's possibly hard to tell, but this is me using my natural English accent. It's slightly posh North Leicestershire accent, specific to a part in the Midlands called Ashby de la Zouch. If you've ever read the book Ivanhoe, there's a scene with a big tournament in the Black Knight and Robin Hood, and that's where it's from. That's where I grew up.
Okay. So
if you're not particularly familiar with accents, it may be slightly hard to tell. It's not received pronunciation there. There's a slight Midlands twang if you're listening carefully.
Wow. I feel like I should put on my Southern accent for today's show. If you're going to do yours, I can do mine. I mean, I grew up in the deep South, y'all, so I could do this too. All right, so we're obviously going to have a lot of fun today. It is a show with truly international flair today. Unbeknownst, I mean, we didn't try and do that, but we're going to have fun. And we're going to get started with Warm It Up Chris.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA, and that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
I want to let you guys know today that Warm It Up Chris is sponsored by our friends over at Water Cooler Trivia. Be sure to check out our ad for Water Cooler Trivia after the midpoint and see what you can do to bring some trivia to your businesses and places of work. All right, Carmela, let's do Warm It Up, Chris.
So I have a list of fun and somewhat unusual units of measurement. So I'm going to give you a unit of measurement, and I want you to tell me what you think that it measures.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's an interesting concept. I like it.
This is unusual. This sounds fun.
So Zahkia, we're going to start with you. Your unit of measurement is a millihelen.
Ooh, I know this.
I do not. A millihelen.
Mm-hmm.
The weight of melons.
I know this one.
If one of the other people knows it, you can go ahead and say it out loud.
It is the beauty required to launch one ship.
Yes.
Ah.
So, because
Like
Helen
Troy.
launched 1,000, so the amount of beauty to launch one. Apparently, there's like a negative measurement to a millihelen, and that's the amount of what it takes to beach a single ship.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Just to be, for what it's worth, if your beauty equals 1 millihelen, that's really freaking beautiful. Somebody launched a ship for you? Come on now. That's no joke.
All right, Eric, you get a mega Fonzie.
A mega Fonzie. Fonzie, obviously, he leaped his motorcycle over a shark tank. He hit the jukebox to play a song. Is it just cool?
It measures an object's coolness.
There it is.
It is a fictional measurement from Futurama.
Hey.
Hey, exactly. With a million A's.
Right? No, just 1,000. It was, or was it a mega? Was it a mega?
Mega.
Oh, it's 100,000. It's 100,000 A's.
Addy, you get a Wheaton.
Okay, so this is presumably referencing Will Wheaton, so probably Star Trek, but I'm one of those rare nerds who has never actually seen an episode of Star Trek. I don't think of any kind ever. I've honestly got nothing.
All right. Anybody want to take a crack at what a Wheaton measures?
Is it a measure of nerdiness?
It is not. So this came about from a webcomic known as Dork Tower. It is the measurement of Twitter followers. It equals 500,000 Twitter followers.
Wow.
Okay, I'm not on Twitter, so.
When Will Wheaton deactivated his account a few years ago, he was up to like 6 Wheatons.
Got it.
Jonathan, you get a beard second.
A beard second. Is this a measurement of how quickly hair grows?
It is a measurement of length. The average length a beard grows in a second is about 10 nanometers.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Zahkia, you get Pirate Ninja.
That sounds like a gamer.
Pirate Ninja. This is making me think of like sophomore years of college. There was like a pirate versus ninja day. So I'm going to say a measurement of how sneaky you can be while walking a plank.
So this comes from the novel The Martian. So the astronaut that's stranded on the Martian, it equals 1 kilowatt hour per Martian day. And it just got too long for him to say that, so he just started calling them pirate ninjas.
Got it.
God, I remember that. Oh, Lord.
Andy Weir did an interview with the Curiosity team at JPL. They use a similar watts per soul in their meetings, and they told him that they're just going to start calling them Millie pirate ninjas. Eric, you get a microcentury.
A microcentury? That sounds almost literal, because a micro would be a millionth of a century, 10,000th of a year, which would be like 30. It's an hour?
It is about an hour. It is a millionth of a century. It was a term used by mathematician John von Neumann. Is the maximum length of a lecture. 52 minutes and 35.7 seconds.
That is a more practical.
This class is taking a microcentury.
Waco said that it's also probably a good way to talk about a therapy hour, because therapy doesn't last an hour.
No, it doesn't.
Or a massage
they bill you
hour.
for it, but it doesn't take that long.
I've had several meetings over the last couple of weeks that have been longer than a microcentury, and that's very depressing to think about. All right, Addy, you get a micromort.
A micromort. Okay, this sounds like it's probably going to be to do with Rick and Morty. Again, not a show I ever watch. Something to do with height, but I honestly don't know.
Anyone else want to take a guess what micromort is?
Is it something?
Mort like death?
Yeah,
Death
like
mort?
Discworld and death measurement somehow.
It does have to do with death. It measures the probability of death. So 1 micromort is a 1 in 1 million probability of death. So any activity would have micromort associated with it in the probability that you might die in the course of it.
So the possibility that you might die during the course of a trivia podcast recording, for example.
Yes,
That's
so it has
very slim. I mean, less than 1 micromort, honestly.
Especially since we're all in different rooms, so can't actually kill each other physically.
Right.
For stupid answers.
It would
and also in different parts of the globe.
Yeah, it would be equivalent to the chance of just dropping dead of natural causes at any given point.
Yeah.
So Trivial Warfare is the safest of the trivia podcast in terms of micromorts. We have had no deaths, and we have the most cumulative hours. So we're in there.
Jonathan. Knock on wood, yeah.
Branding right there.
Jonathan, your unit of measurement is a scaramucci.
Oh, no. Scaramucci. This name is familiar. It's not Scaramouche like Bohemian Rhapsody. A Scaramucci is somebody's last name on a TV show. No, Zakia's hinting me. Warmer, colder. Somebody's last name on a movie. No.
This is just charades now, isn't it?
Oh, God. I don't know what a Scaramucci is. It's very familiar. I don't know.
All right. Zakia?
It's like less than 2 weeks. It's as long as Anthony Scaramucci, which is like Donald Trump's press secretary.
Yeah. It is a length of 11 days, named for the amount of time Anthony Scaramucci served as White House communications director.
Yep, there you go.
Zakia, you get a jiffy.
This is a mistake. This is like a jiffy is what I think it's quick, but also it's like the Mandela effect of the peanut butter. Because it's not jiffy. So I don't know. A measurement of like ounces of fake peanut butter.
How long it takes you to eat an ounce of Jif peanut butter.
It is actually a measurement of time. It's about 10 milliseconds. It's used in computing sometimes.
It's also used
Yeah.
as in British. It is used in British as slang. I didn't know if it had a specific definition, but "I'll be there in a jiffy" is a bit of a thing that people do say here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we have like things like Jiffy Lube. It's supposed to be like a place where you can get your oil changed quickly. Eric, I think this actually is going to be our last time around. Eric, you get Megadeth.
Megadeth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that could just simply be the awesomeness of a song. Actually, no, it would be the loudness of a song.
That is a pretty good answer. So Megadeth, the band, I'm assuming takes its name from this unit of measurement, which happened in the 50s. It is a unit of atomic bomb destruction. It is equal to 1 million deaths.
It's absolutely not a joke at all.
Yeah, that is not nearly where I was trying to go with that. Yeah. Oh, well.
I mean, I heard the band, so I was like,
Yeah, that's why Zahkia
I think there-
dancing in the background of that one.
Because that's
There
what
was an
everybody thinks of first, which I think is great.
Yeah, there was an opportunity for rebranding. I'll just say that.
Addie, you get a Mickey.
Mickey. That's a fairly common name. It feels like there's lots of things that could relate to. There's Mickey Mouse, take the Mickey as a prank, endless number of actual Mickeys. I can't come up with anything specific, unfortunately. Embarrassingly.
So I've got two possible things. One is a volume for alcohol. Two is the measurement of a mouse movement.
It is the smallest detectable movement of a computer mouse.
Oh.
It's about 1/10 of a millimeter
okay.
is a Mickey.
That's cute.
But the alcohol one is good. Just saying.
Jonathan, you get OLF. OLF.
Is this a measurement of smell?
It is. It is the odor of one standard person.
Hey.
Nicely
So, like, if
worked
it's a
out.
smoker, the OLF goes up. It's like 20 something. So, yeah, the OLF is the odor of one standard person. I have a few other ones, but one I do want to ask just to the group is, what do you think a Sagan measures?
The amount of cosmic dust made up that something is made up of.
Or size of the cosmos.
These are good guesses.
I don't have anything more specific. It's obviously to do with Carl Sagan, but
Yeah.
The length of the movie Contact.
So it is a number of at least 4 billion. It is in reference to Carl Sagan saying billions and billions. So at least 2 billion
Oh.
plus at least 2 billion. So, but yeah, that's your warm it up.
So then, if we were to name a measurement a rock standard, it would be at least 4 million because of the millions and millions of the Rock's fans. There's at least 300 people listening to this that thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. But that is your warm it up, Chris, for this episode.
Nicely done, nicely done. And this episode is number 398. That means we are live on the main feed this week. Not really live, but we're live, so it's live. And I want to remind everybody that the Everyday Q&A trivia calendar is available for pre-order right now. Order it now so you get it as soon as it ships. This is a page-a-day calendar, a trivia question every day. You also get updates from Humdinger when something changes, or even perhaps when an error is made. You will get a Humdinger update letting you know what the correct information is or the updated information. You can go to triviacalendar.com to grab those now, and there is a discount. If you buy more than one, you get $5 off of each calendar after one. Actually, every calendar, including the first one. So if you buy two, you get $10 off. If you buy three, it's $15 off, etc., etc., etc. You can play along with today's game on the Trivia-Matic app. Just download the Trivia-Matic, hit play now, and enter this code, 796151. That's right, use code 796151. And you will be able to see the questions as we ask them. You just hit next to get moving, and you'll play along and see how you do against other people playing. So that's it for the news and announcements. Today's game, it's going to be Jonathan and Eric versus Zahkia and Addy with Carmela hosting. And it's time to play the game.
Players. Oh, yeah.
Y'all know what time it is. This is Mr. Literature himself, cordially inviting you to the game. This is 6 rounds of trivia goodness. 3 questions per round. Every right answer gets you 10 points. In the middle, we'll take a pause for the cause and ask a midpoint question worth up to 20 juicy points. After round 6, you can wager any or all those points you've been building up and take a shot at the final round. It's a series of theme-based questions we call the Gauntlet. It's just that easy, baby. But this game ain't gonna play itself, players. Let's get it on.
First category in round 1 is a good start.
A good start indeed.
What Grammy-winning recording artist that had a Billboard #1 with Locked Out of Heaven started out as an Elvis impersonator and even had a cameo as Lil Elvis in Honeymoon in Vegas in 1992?
I feel rather confident, Eric.
I'm prepared for you to lock that in.
All right, we're doing it. Locked in like a Scottish lake. We're locked in.
Yeah, I'm just going to ignore that. You can just keep doing it throughout the episode. It's probably not going to get it right. I mean, you're all good.
The jokes will get better. I promise.
No, they won't.
You.
No. I don't promise.
Okay, never mind.
No, I like bad jokes. I cannot lie.
I like bad jokes and I cannot lie.
And here I am. I really want to make a locked in, locked out of heaven joke because yes, the answer I know, Addy, it is Bruno Mars.
I will trust you on that completely.
Yes, we can lock in, locked out of heaven with Bruno Mars.
Yep, laked out of heaven. Exactly. We said Bruno Mars.
The day that we are recording this is his 37th birthday.
Whoa!
It is Bruno Mars.
So today it is October 8th. October 8th is officially Bruno Mars Day. Who knew?
That's a fit.
Happy birthday, Bruno Mars.
I wonder how many pirate ninjas he uses per day.
Oh, we'll bring some 24 karat magic to this game.
Yeah.
Yay!
He is by definition a Martian. So
he's also a treasure.
He'll also catch a grenade for you. Let's just keep rolling down the discography here.
We could.
All right, your next category is might as well jump. The Park Avenue Viaduct is a notable roadway in Manhattan that moves Park Avenue around the Grand Central Terminal and the MetLife building. It is also what Will Smith leaps from in pursuit of a suspect in what late 90s film?
I was writing down the answer before she finished asking the question. As soon as she said viaduct, I was like, I bet this, and the category, I was like, I bet this is going to be this thing.
You just beat me to it, John.
There we go. We're locked in.
All yours.
Oh.
I guess they're super smart.
Yeah, they're super smart. Yeah. I have an answer, but I'm not entirely.
Yeah, I'd like to know what your answer is.
Late 90s, leaping from, like, it's either, like, Men in Black or Enemy of the State.
What was the category again, please?
Might as well jump.
Might as well jump. Okay. Yeah, Men in Black's the... Because at first I thought something got iRobot, but that was 2005, so it's not that. Men in Black was definitely late 90s. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a gap in my knowledge of Will Smith's works.
Like, I've only seen, like, the second or the third one of Men in Black, I think. Like, ugh. So I'm not sure if that actually takes place in New York. Enemy of the State is definitely a Will Smith movie, but I feel like that could be, like, early 2000s. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe, like, 99.
Men in Black is like by virtue of being sort of sci-fi fantasy blockbuster is more likely to have sort of stunt like jumping off a building in it. Enemy of the State is possibly slightly more grounded. You will just go with Men in Black because we know it's a late 90s Will Smith film.
Sure.
Okay, we're going with Men in Black then.
Jonathan and Eric.
We are the Men in Black. Galaxy Defenders. Yeah, it's not a building, it's a bridge pretty much. It's a viaduct. So it's an overpass. And yeah, he's early on he's a police officer and he gets noticed for his effort in catching a criminal, and he jumps off that overpass to do it.
He's in pursuit of a guy that he doesn't know at the time is an alien, and it does take place in New York. It is definitely Men in Black. So both teams get the correct answer. Great job.
Excellent.
By the way, Enemy of the State, you could definitely see him jumping off a viaduct in Enemy of the State. If that is absolutely within the realm of what's possible.
I
there.
need to see that film. It's on that endless list.
Your last category in the round is After School Job. Set in the fictional town of Neptune, California, what mid-2000s television show features a teenager that does detective work in her non-school hours?
Meow 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 meow.
I've got meow meow as well on this.
So
All
maybe
right,
you're locked in.
that's for Zakia.
I think we
that's
know
them.
it, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
me doing it for them.
I think we know.
Eric,
Yeah.
I was going to agree with what you said, whatever you said, as long as it was that answer.
I was pretty much on the Mjolnir path myself.
All right, so tell us about it.
The wonderful world of before she was Elsa in Frozen, that she was a crime detective.
Anna, probably.
Oh, Anna. My brain is farting. So yes, we will. So before she was Anna in Frozen, she was this crime detective as a teenager in a town, busting up things, but really she was just a cub reporter for her father. And really, this is Veronica Mars, 100%. Which kind of goes nicely with the Bruno Mars.
I was just about to say also a Martian.
Yeah.
Zakia and Addy, because you guys had meow meows.
Come on, not sugar. So yeah, we've got Men in Black, which is also kind of
It's a
spacey.
space-themed round.
Space-themed round, yeah.
Yeah, but yes, it is Miss Veronica Mars.
It is indeed
Absolutely.
Veronica Mars with Kristen Bell. So great job, both teams.
Was it an intentionally space-themed round, Carmela?
Not at first, and then after I wrote like a couple of these questions, like, we'll just group these into one
There
one
it
round.
is. Okay.
It's a Carmela game. There's going to be space stuff in there. We know and appreciate that.
So after the first round, both teams are tied 30-30. Okay, your first category in round 2 is world records. Who is the television personality and New York City native that passed in July 2020 and held the Guinness World Record for most hours on camera with over 16,700 as of September 2011?
No, I think you're right. I think that's the answer we should go with.
Okay. Let's lock it in then.
Okay, we're locked in.
Zakia, I'm happy to go with your suggestion. I think it sounds plausible enough, and I certainly don't have anything better than that.
Okay, so the suggestion is Regis Philbin. June of 2020 seems reasonable from around the time he died. The September 2011, I think maybe that's when he stopped appearing on television. Like he pulled back from Live with Regis and Kelly. And between Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and Live, he has done a lot of TV. And he is definitely from New York. So we're locking in with Regis Philbin.
So, Eric, I suggested people like Willard Scott and Larry King, and then you suggested the answer that we went with.
And for pretty much, I did the math of 16,700 hours and worked out pretty much an hour a day for 40 years. Or, if you were doing a 3-hour morning show for 10 years or so, 15, you probably get there. And that sounds a lot like Regis Philbin.
I grew up watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That was kind of the trivia show that I grew up on. So he's kind of near and dear to my heart. This is indeed Regis Philbin.
Thank you, Zakia, for continuing to carry me so far in this game.
Got a strong back, little shoulders.
Your next category is Where in the World is Carmela Sandiego?
I always want to do one of these.
Where in the world is Carmela Sandiego?
All right. I'm going to be taking a trip to the northernmost country in Africa, with the Mediterranean to the north and to the east. In 2011, there was a revolution in this country that overthrew the regime of President Zayn El Abidine Ben Ali and kicked off the larger Arab Spring movement. Where am I?
I've got meow on this one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yep. All the meows.
Do you want a 3-2 on it?
Sure.
Coolio.
Sure, let's go for it.
Count us off, Carmela.
3, 2, 1.
Tunisia.
It is Tunisia.
I was in 2011. How old would I have been? I can't even remember. But I know that I was really actively following that thing, like start to finish, day by day, on forums and sort of the early days of social media. The early days of the Arab Spring absolutely kicked off in Tunisia, which seems somewhat fitting because that's also where the where the Star Wars films were filmed. So Luke Skywalker kicked off his rebellion in the sands of Tunisia, and then the very real Arab Spring kicked off there as well.
Your last category in the round is trending. What YouTube comedy group has been among the top trending topics on Twitter since news broke of one of the members having an affair with an employee and being removed from the group?
Meow meow.
Oh, God.
I
All
think that Zahkia sounds on that.
Ooh,
I didn't even fully comprehend the question yet.
Do you want me to read it again?
Please. I was busy watching Zahkia react to the question.
I understand why she reacted the way that she did. So the question is, what YouTube comedy group has been among the top trending topics on Twitter since news broke of one of the members having an affair with an employee and being removed from the group? Because apparently September was Cheat on Your Wife month for all celebrities.
That's probably not the best moniker for a month. November.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
It just happened to be what it was.
Yeah.
There's not that many. I don't know how many YouTube comedy troupes there are that haven't moved over to mainstream like TV shows. Like Impractical Jokers, they are now more of a TV show, so I wouldn't call them like a YouTube thing. But I think that there is a group that I know that Carmela likes, or I think that Carmela likes, called the Try Guys, and essentially they're a group of people that will try anything. Like they did electroshock therapy on their balls once, or something like that, to try and equate to the pain of childbirth, something like that. Lots of weird stuff like that. But so that is a comedy troupe. That is a YouTube comedy troupe that I am aware of. So that's not a terrible answer.
The only things I have, my 13-year-old will show me stuff on YouTube periodically, like Studio C or Star Kid or Funny or Die, but I think none of them I've really associated being a YouTube comedy troupe.
Or a troupe at all.
Precisely. So I would just go with the Try Guys. I'm fine with that, Jonathan.
All right, let's do it.
Right. Zahkia?
So it's interesting that you say these YouTube comedy groups go from YouTube to TV shows. It turns out that this particular YouTube group had a TV show that launched on the Food Network a week before this whole thing started to go down. This YouTube comedy troupe was my comfort channel while I was pregnant, and they have a whole series on motherhood and electroshock therapy on their balls.
Not how I would describe that video.
Same. It is. Yeah, but the correct answer is the Try Guys. I have a whole theory about how the Try Guys are for humors, like the Hippocrates for humors. It's like they're the same. Yeah. It's a whole thing, but yes, Try Guys.
I met those guys. They were at PatreonCon we were in LA in 2018 for a Patreon conference. Not much of a story.
I have had a conversation with them as well. Zach was the nicest to me. I made Keith both blush and laugh in about a 60-second conversation. So go me. And of course, the one that cheated on his wife is the one that's from Jacksonville. So hooray!
As if we didn't need more bad pub.
Like, thanks, Ned. Yes, this is Try Guys. I have devoured all the gossip, but same as Zahkia, they were kind of like my comfort channel during lockdown. I've been watching them for years. I'm wearing a Zach hoodie right now. So
You
like it was, kind of like what do you mean? Like, what do you mean that happened? But it's because he had an affair with an employee. Ned's whole thing is that how much he's super into his wife. Well, it turns out probably not.
Super into a lot of women, apparently.
Yeah. When the company had found out their Food Network show had just gone on the air, and he put the entire company in jeopardy, because that's several people work for this company, And he opened everybody up for legal issues, which is not cool. Not cool, Ned. On top of, the cheating on your wife part, which is also not cool. So
Honestly,
yeah.
I think that's the more not cool part.
It is from a personal standpoint, but at the same time, you also are threatening the livelihood of at least 20 other people.
Yeah, don't fumble anyone else's bag.
Right. So yeah, the month, Ned.
Just solid advice. Don't employees.
So
in any way, shape, or form. That doesn't even have to be a euphemism. Any way, shape, or form.
Neither literally nor figuratively.
Exactly.
All right. After that round, it is still tied 60-60. Okay. First category in round 3 is obligatory sports question. Sports. Psh. Not sure if this is what they mean by break a leg, but what 3-time Super Bowl champion and NFL Hall of Fame quarterback broke his ankle during his first year of college playing for the Oklahoma Sooners before transferring and finishing his college football career for the UCLA Bruins?
I think this is the way to go.
I am going to declare that sports is not almost a bag of nothing, not quite a bag of nothing, but your bag is significantly bigger than my bag, which is way too much information. So let's go with yours.
My bag is not anywhere close to nothing when it comes to sports. I have a very full bag.
That is very true.
And I'll go ahead and lock in.
Sports there are 2 sports I know anything about. I did come 5th in the Apocalypse Sports Trivia Snooker Friendly this week. Snooker is a sport that I actually do know about, and I could have finished 2nd if
those were all words. Correctly. I don't know what any of them mean.
I also know about tennis and a little bit about soccer, but that's about it. So unfortunately, this is going to have to be all Zahkia.
And that's not good. No, it's fine. I'm just going with my comfort answer of Joe Montana. Could be.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going Montana?
Yeah, Joe Montana.
So the only reason why I didn't lock in pretty instantly, Eric, is that I feel like this guy is from Texas, and I think there was some drama with it. But so our answer is Troy Aikman. I know he won with the Cowboys twice against the Bills, and then again in 1995 in the Barry Switzer Super Bowl. So I think he only had 3 Super Bowls. I know he's a Hall of Famer. And in my mind's eye, I can kind of see him in UCLA, but I'm not a college football guy, so I'm not good at quarterbacks and where they went to school compared to some sports people. But in my mind's eye, I can see him at UCLA, but my heart is telling me, dude's a Texas guy. Why would he go somewhere like that? So anyway, everything else was enough for me to go for it. So we said Troy Aikman.
So yeah, he went to high school in Oklahoma and then did 1 year with the Sooners and then went to UCLA. It is Troy Aikman.
Nice. There we go.
Nice job.
Your next category in the round is let's make a cocktail. I have vodka, cranberry juice, lime juice, and Cointreau that I have shaken with ice and strained into a martini glass. What have I made? Cointreau is COINTREAU if you need that.
Okay. I'm feeling the same way, Addy.
Yeah,
the exact same way.
We both wrote down the same thing pretty instantly, so do you want to lock in with that?
Sure.
Okay, we're locked in.
So, Eric, if people want vodka cranberry, they just ask for vodka cranberry. So the difference between that and this is a little bit of orange flavored liqueur and the lime juice. I've never had or ordered a Cosmopolitan, so I don't know what's in it. Can you tell me about it?
I can't really tell you about it aside from it is something served in a actual martini glass that is red, so clearly has significant amount of cranberry juice within it. So, and it's not simply vodka cranberry. So it's got something else in it in order to give it some sort of kick. The only other cranberry-based drinks I can think of are like a Sea Breeze, but that actually has grapefruit juice in it, I think, properly, or a Cape Cod. But that doesn't sound as cosmopolitan as a Cosmopolitan.
I think I like what you're thinking. I think we should go with it.
Cool. Let's lock that in.
Summer breeze makes me feel fine. You got me. You said Sea Breeze, and I got Seals and Croft in my head now.
You see Sea Breeze, and I think of Lorne from Angel because that's always his drink of choice.
Addy, the last thing that I sent to you, I'm like, it's the right glass for a Cosmo. And I know those had vodka and crayon. And autocorrect is never nice to me when I'm trying to send these things. And it autocorrected to vodka and crabs, which is
That doesn't sound as
It's Cape Codder.
I was trying to write down the ingredients, and I realized I wrote vodka cranberry cosmopolitan. So no, that's not the ingredients of the question, but that's a good chance that that's actually the answer. So yeah, we also went with cosmopolitan.
Cosmopolitan probably became more popular when Sex and the City was out, because that's what Carrie would always drink. And yeah, it's a kind of a reddish pinkish color. They're very good. I enjoy them. So, but yeah, cosmopolitan is what we're looking for here. Good job.
Hey, the non-drinker gets the alcohol question right. That happens more often than one would think.
Your next category in the round, actually the last category in the round, is Muse It Over. In Greek myth, who is the muse of history? There is no account if anyone wrote them any letters in the 1990s.
Oh,
Picking up what you're laying down.
Yeah, that's all. I also wrote that down, Jonathan.
All right, we'll lock that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why they say like everyone after Jeopardy is like, oh, I want to play poker with you. And like, no, you don't. You just know that I am very expressive.
It's a good thing. It's also
No, they like you. They want to play poker with you. It's just fun to play poker with people.
They want my money.
Yeah, if Gary Middleton asks you to play poker, don't do
Say
it.
no. Or Bing. Bing Cow. Dude takes your
played
money.
against Big. I have played against Gary, though, and just don't do it.
So the face is like, I'm looking at you, Carmela, and I'm like, are you a Letters to Cleo fan? Did I pick that up all of a sudden? Is that true? Because I was like, okay, muses that I can name.
Muses.
There's like muses. Make the people inspired.
Learn their
or
history.
something.
Sounds far from here.
So I like Terpsichore, I think is one.
Yep.
And there's like I want to say Menominee, but that's like
Boop, 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 boop.
yeah.
Boop, boop, boop.
I know, but like Cleo, to me, like you said, letters in the 90s. My first thought went to Letters to Cleo, but Letters to Cleo is kind of like a deep cut band. So if Carmela is a Letters to Cleo fan, we should have a little kiki about that. But Cleo sounds like it could be a Greek name. I am blanking on the name of that muse of history.
So am I. I know that. Yeah, it's one of those things. I really should have the list down, but that's as good a tie. I'm completely happy to go with that. Play to the host. Play to the host, and if that's the angle, then that sounds good to me.
I'm not even sure that I'm playing to the host or playing to what my fantasized version of the host is, but we're gonna go with Cleo and lock it in.
Miss Cleo, read your fortune, man. Yeah, so Eric, you and I, we were both thinking the same thing. Neither one of us knew the name of the muse of history, but we both know if you're writing letters in the 90s, you were probably writing letters to Cleo. So we said Cleo as well.
So they were the musical act at the 2018 Geek Bowl. And I know them most because they were singing on the rooftop at the end of 10 Things I Hate About You. I am thinking about Letters to Cleo, and the music's name is Cleo.
Great job, Zahkia. Brilliant job.
Oh, I'm so happy.
I would never have guessed. You hide it so well.
I mean, geez. Try and show a little emotion, for God's sakes.
I know, it's a podcast.
Ooh, yeah.
And rest.
At the end of that round, we have a little bit of separation. Eric and Jonathan are in the lead with 90. Zahkia and Addy are right behind them with 80.
Zahkia and Addy are right behind him with Addy.
That pronunciation does come up surprisingly often. It's all good.
All right. So your midpoint is Flying High. The Eagles hit the top of the Billboard Hot 100 5 times in the 1970s. I would like you to name 4 of those times. I apologize to Zahkia because she obviously does not like this question.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Eric, I'm gonna give more than 5 options probably, and I think we can pick from them. You said specifically in the 70s, Carmela?
All of their number one hits happen to be in the 70s.
Okay. I'm good with that. The last one is one of my least favorite Eagles songs, but that doesn't mean that it didn't make it.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, we're locked in.
Yep.
Well, it looks like we have the opposite problem to Jonathan and Eric, because you guys know a load of Eagles songs. You can't be sure which one's the number one. We know exactly 2 Eagles songs and don't know any other Eagles songs. So we are trying. So we are in the make up and hope that it somehow sticks.
Yeah, but the 2 that you know are probably going to be right answers.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, sure.
I'm absolutely beyond certain of one, and I'm pretty certain the other is on there as well. And after that, not so much. Yeah, we're not gonna waste any more time over this.
All right. So our answers: Hotel California, Take It Easy, America because Eagles, and Airy because of Eagles.
There it is for the win.
So we also were talking about Take It Easy. We were also saying Hotel California because we have to be on the dark desert highway. We also thought it was important to be living life in the fast lane. And then the last one that we had, we were debating between like Lying Eyes and Desperado, but we ended up landing on The Long Run.
So they had 2 in 1975, 2 in 1977, and 1 in 1979. Best of My Love, One of These Nights, 2 from 1975. The 2 from 1977, New Kid in Town and Hotel California. And the one from 1979 was Heartache Tonight. So I think both teams got one.
Wow.
As soon as you said the first ones were at 75, I'm like, well, Taking It Easy ain't right then. Because that was way earlier. Well, phooey. It's really weird. Like, we did a question in the live show about Billy Joel's had 3 number one hits and named 2 of the 3. And it really is not the things you expect to be people's number one hits that typically are the number one hits for somebody who has more than one.
Especially from way back then, the songs that have become famous decades later are not necessarily the ones that people were actually physically buying at the time.
Right.
Especially pre-streaming.
Yeah, because Life in the Fast Lane is, other than Hotel California, is the first Eagles song that I think of. But I also know a lot of Eagles songs because I'm an old person inside of a younger person's body. But yeah, I would have also said Life in the Fast Lane before I said some of these other ones.
When you said 79, I felt good about The Long Run, too, because I think Heartache Tonight was on the Long Run album.
Great. So after the midpoint, it is 95 to 85. Eric and Jonathan are still in the lead.
All right, that is the end of the first half. And before we go on to the second half, I want to let you know that today's show is sponsored by Water Cooler Trivia. Now, we've advertised for Water Cooler Trivia in the past, and they are coming back strong. The thing that makes Water Cooler Trivia stand out from other trivia games is that it's designed for the workplace. Whether you work through your manager, work through HR, work through whoever you need to work through, you can get a simple, fun trivia game going in your office, and it's going to help make the workplace a funner place. For years now, people have been asking, how do we keep our people engaged at the workplace if they're all working remotely? The answer is Water Cooler Trivia. You can have fun. You can play games with each other. You can build camaraderie. You can even tease each other. You just need something that stands out, something that's the input to make that happen. Water Cooler Trivia is a perfect answer for you. It costs about $1 per person per month, but there's a 4-week free trial. So you can sign up now and see how much you like it before deciding to pay for it. You can have it set up to work on Slack. You can have it set up to work on Microsoft Teams. If you're using these tools to keep in touch with people and to engage with your teams and your workplace, you can do your Water Cooler Trivia there, or it can just go to an inbox. It can be emailed. The questions are handwritten by trivia nerds. They are vouched for. They are vetted, and you can customize it. You can choose the difficulty. You can choose when the quiz comes and when it's due. So you could set it up to come out on Monday morning and be due on Monday evening. Or you can set it to come out on Wednesday afternoon and be open and submissions aren't due until next Tuesday. You customize that. You customize the difficulty, the types of questions. It's in your hands. You're getting a great tool for building a team in the workplace, and it's not expensive. I hope you give it a try today. You need to go to watercoolertrivia.com and sign up for your 4-week free trial. You don't even need a credit card. Watercoolertrivia.com and sign up for your 4-week trial today. Today's show is also sponsored by BetterHelp. I really hope that it comes through in these advertisements how much I value personal therapy and how much I value my relationship with my therapist, Crystal, that I found using BetterHelp. It's been a big deal for me over these few years that I've been talking to her. It's made a big difference for me. Sometimes you wish that we could just go online and find the answer to everything, right? We're smart enough. We can figure it out ourselves. I know that all of us have thought something like that. It's like, I can figure this out, or I'll just go research it. I'll find the answer. Well, sometimes there's no user manual. Sometimes there's no book to read. Sometimes there's no article to find the answer. And sometimes you need to lay it all out there for somebody and let them listen actively. Let them engage with you. Share those things that you're hiding sometimes and be real with somebody and get that support and give them the chance to provide feedback or to point you in the direction of what would work for you, or just to challenge you sometimes to say, hey, what you believe is true. Let's double check that. That's what kind of benefits I've gotten from BetterHelp. And I feel pretty confident that if you're matched up with the right therapist, you can get the same. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people already with professionally licensed and vetted therapists that are available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist at any time. I have. That's how I got to Crystal. It could not be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. You can learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/TWA. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TWA. All right, let's get started with the second half of today's game.
Your first category in round 4 is an interrupted run for the roses. What sporting event has the distinction of running every year since its inaugural event in May 1875? The only delay was it being rescheduled due to the pandemic and ran in September 2020 in an empty venue instead of its usual spring occurrence.
Yeah, I think, Zahkia, if you're good with that, then we can lock in.
Yep. Super good. Lock it in.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Well, we are doing the same thing. If it's not the Kentucky Derby, then it's the most misleading statement bringing up the Run for the Roses that you could possibly make. So we are saying the Kentucky Derby.
Since the last Geek Bowl in Chicago, I have spent a huge amount of time becoming best friends with and doing a huge amount of trivia with Rowan Ward, who, of course, is a horsing chart caller, knows everything about horses. This was absolutely a thing I picked up in discussions with Rowan. Yeah, it's got to be the Kentucky Derby.
Yep, it is the Kentucky Derby. The other parts of the Triple Crown had some hiatuses during, World War II, but the Kentucky Derby has run uninterrupted since 1875.
Those other parts are the Preakness and the Belmont Stakes, Rowan, just to prove that I actually did pick up some stuff.
Absolutely.
You're right on the money.
Now, Rowan, I'm going to ask you what the three UK Triple Crown ones are, because I know you often can't remember. Sorry.
All right, your next category is what's in a name? What actor, who has won 6 Golden Globes and 6 Emmys, all but one of which was for the same long-running television show, was born with the name Alfonso de Abruzzo in 1936 and was nominated for a Best Supporting Actor Oscar in 2004 for his role in The Aviator.
Could you spell D'Abruzzo?
D'_ABRUZZO. D'Abruzzo.
And his first name was Alfred?
Alfonso.
You know what, Eric? I like what you're putting down.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I mean, if
Let's
it
lock that
doesn't
in.
make sense, you've worked your way into something that could make sense, and that's worth something.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
All right.
We're locked in.
The answer that could make sense. Zahkia and Addy.
The Aviator. Oh, well, Al. Is Alan
Thick?
It's either Alan No, not him. Alan Alda? Like, he was on MASH, right?
I think so. Unfortunately, American TV is another of my weaknesses. I've seen The Aviator, but that would have been around about the time it came out. Obviously, Leonardo DiCaprio and Cate Blanchett are the leads. I'm trying to think who else was in that. Obviously, it's got
Gwen Stefani, but then
yeah, probably not her.
No hollaback plane.
Obviously, it's got to be someone fairly old. They would have been in their 60s at the time, at least. They'd be 90 now, if they're still alive.
If you don't mind going with Alan Alda, I'm not even sure.
I don't have anything better, I'm afraid.
Okay, Alan Alda. Lock that in.
Okay. Jonathan and Eric.
So what I was puzzling through was someone who was probably mid-30s or so when they were doing their run of shows. Their series would have been on for probably 10 or so years. Then I looked at the name Alfonso D'Abruzzo and looking like Al da Bruzzo and thinking Alan Alda. Maybe that would make some sense. And Mike Mash was famously on for 8 years for the 3 years of the Korean War. So absolutely, he would have won a whole lot of awards. So we also locked in with Alan Alda.
Yeah, all but one of those awards was for the show MASH, which is on from like the early 70s to the early 80s. It is Alan Alda, who is still alive, by the way.
Zahkia,
as of this recording.
Jonathan, well done. You are Jonathan against Jonathan. Amazing.
Unbelievable.
I can't make words. Okay.
She's like, Al.
It's like, go Al Bundy, come on.
Right?
I almost went with Alan Arkin, but I remember he's the guy from Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, the names that I was putting out were people like Abe Vigoda, Paul Newman, which would be funny, but not correct.
As far as I know, those were those actually the names.
Yeah, Abe Vigoda was 70 years old when he was born, so.
Yeah, he was Tessio in The Godfather, I think. So
but yeah, it's Alan Alda, and then, because I believe his father's name was also started with an AL, who was also an actor, and so it's AL from Alfonso, then DA from the last name. That's how they got Alda. So
Wow,
well done.
Yep. Your next category is Carmela reads a hit. Name the 1968 song by a Grammy-winning British rock band with these lyrics: "I shouted out who killed the Kennedys, and after all, it was you and me."
You want the song, right?
Yes, I want the song.
I have. I'll write it down in our chat and we can lock that in.
We will lock that in.
68. So, like, this is who are like Beatles and Rolling Stones British contemporaries. And shouted out who killed the Kennedys. After all, it's you and me. Maybe leaning toward a Rolling Stones song. Just choose one of those at random, because they're a little sloppy around the mouth. Like, you don't understand what he's saying.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have to defer to you to pick one. It was my famous quote did come from a Rolling Stones round. I still don't know anything about them.
I am gonna pick one at random and say, "Give Me Shelter." There you go.
Let me please introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. This is Sympathy for the Devil. It is the Rolling Stones.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Song was number 106 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time. Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones.
Wait a minute. Is Sympathy for the Devil the woo woo one?
Mhm.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to say. I said, give me shelter instead. No. Okay.
It's okay. Sorry,
We're
I couldn't yell at you any.
I shouted out, "Who killed the Kennedys?" When after all, it was you and me.
Yeah, I unfortunately foreshadowed our own downfall there.
You got around to the Rolling Stones, which was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had the right song, had the wrong title, but you know what?
Hoo-hoo.
I've done that.
It's cool. We still got time.
Hoo-hoo.
Just going to say Alda. Just Alda.
So after that round, Eric and Jonathan have 125. Zahkia and Addy have 105.
Okay.
Still a really close game. First category of round 5 is up the tempo. In music, if you are playing around 120 to 156 beats per minute and, quote, fast, quick, and bright, what tempo are you playing in? It's a tempo you will find in Vivaldi's Spring.
Yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah, I'm happy to trust you to lock in if you
No.
want. I've just made clear what my opinion is on the subject. So
I think this is it. We'll lock it in.
I'm not familiar with Prestissimo, Eric.
Prestissimo is, I think it's like the fastest that you tend to go. I thought Allegro was a bit more calming
It might
as
be.
opposed to fast and bright. But
I don't think 156 is the fastest for sure, though.
No, it's not.
Because spring is dun 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 da da dun 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 da da dun, which is fast and bright, but it's not fastest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? Let's go with Allegro.
Well, I mean, do we have any other options? I'm not great with these.
If I had my daughter here, I would. If she was
You'd
on
be
a team
cheating
with
if
us,
you asked her.
I would be cheating.
Yes.
She's not here, and more to the point, she would definitely know the answer.
What is forte?
Forte is strong.
Forte is strong.
Yeah, so that would not be fast and light.
What is
Largo is slow.
Largo is an island.
Oh, Key Largo, yes.
All right, we can go Allegro.
Allegro. Just lock it in.
I bet there's one in between.
Yeah.
But we'll say Allegro.
Okay. Zahkia and Addy.
I like classical music, and I can tell you forte is strong, but it's also loud. Piano is soft. Largo is slow, and I believe the answer is allegro, like alegria, like happy. Bright, happy. And so we also said allegro.
It is not the fastest. Prestissimo is, I think, the fastest. It's over 200 beats per minute. It's on the upper end, though. This is allegro. So good job.
good job.
Nice. Sometimes it helps to only know one or two words.
There's also allegro in ballet, which is brisk and lively movement.
Ooh.
They're related. I mean, they're different as far as they're applied to different situations, but they're related in what they mean.
So when I get out of bed, I am truly...
You are not Allegro.
I am Largo.
And it's also if you don't have an or and you're forced to use a body part as a substitute, I think that's allegro as well. Is that just too bad?
Wow.
Well done.
Sebastian's legs are Allegroing.
I had to get at least one stupid pun in this episode.
Your next category in the round is a biblical allegory. The story of Adam and Eve's first two children, Cain and Abel, didn't end very well. What was the name of their third child, who was venerated in Judaism, Islam, and Christianity?
I've got meow meows on this. 100%.
Shall we 3, 2, 1? Eric, do you want to say what we think it is together before we...
Yeah, I'll just type it in.
I'm going to say yours is wrong. There,
Yes,
that's better.
the second one, that was auto.
All right, we can 3, 2, 1 that. Let's do
All
it.
right. Are we 3, 2, 1-ing, Addy?
Okay, sure.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Seth.
Yes, Seth. Good job.
Yeah, I grew up with the Command & Conquer video games, and the main adversary in those games is a guy called Cain, and your main advisor, if you're playing the bad guys, is Seth, who ultimately ends up getting killed and you end up replacing him. Also a villain in some other media, Stargate SG-1 among others. Yeah, from God to Cain to Seth.
Your last category in the round is a heavy pour. What country, according to Forbes.com, produced the largest amount of wine in 2021 with more than 44.5 million hectoliters, which was about a 9% drop from the year before? So what country produced the most wine last year? That's produced, not necessarily shipped or exported, produced.
I guess I could argue every single answer given enough time.
I had an idea, though, of why.
Oh, I like that. I like that concept. Yeah. Okay. Good job. We'll answer that with a lack of confidence, but a lot of hope.
I like how you put that.
Yep. All right. We're locked in.
Yeah, we're similarly between a few different answers, and there's an argument you made for all of them. I'm pretty certain that consumption is the Vatican because of the Pope and all the religious stuff there, but they're obviously not producing very much specifically. So it's really, for me, I'm between Italy, the wider country, France, and the USA. Now, what got me was the specific drop. Now, that's a significant drop. And obviously, COVID could have had an impact, but why specifically last year that much? And Zahkia, you were thinking about the wildfires in California? They were pretty bad last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So specifically, like my husband, at the end of every year, we do like year-end current event cookies. So for 2021, we did the Texas power line going down. We did the 2021 Olympics. We did inflation. We did Omicron and Delta variant cookies. But one of the ideas we tossed around was wildfires. We were going to do like a spicy cinnamon cookie. So I feel like the California wildfires does give a reason for like the drop, like climate stuff really affects California really badly. And the fact that Carmela said this is produced and not necessarily exported. Italian wine and French wine, I'm sure they're exporting it all over the place, but like just by the sheer size of the US, it's not just like California that makes wine too.
No. Yeah, I'm happy, especially with the wildfires. I'm happy to go with. So we go with USA.
Yeah, let's do USA. Lock it in.
Cool. And so we had thrown out ideas of France and Italy and the US, but then we twigged into the rapid drop in production. And I typed to Jonathan, what about the wildfires in California? And we locked in with the United States.
The drop was because I believe it was partially a climate issue, but the harvest just wasn't as great as it was the year before. The largest amount of wine produced by a country was Italy. Italy is the largest producer.
Part of me wanted that one just because when I visited, you drink wine like water. It's every table, every meal.
Every meal.
Wine.
Yeah.
Their consumption is off the charts.
All right, well, that's the end of the fifth round. Eric and Jonathan have 145 points. Zahkia and Addy have 125. First category in round 6 is changes.
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 So you do know some music. This isn't a music question.
There you go.
I know something.
She caught you.
In 2018, what change was made to the Barnum's Animal Crackers packaging after 116 years of it being part of every box?
Yeah, just lock that in.
All right, we're going to lock in.
Okay, Addy, I vaguely remember hearing something about this a couple years ago.
Same.
The problem with animal crackers is that there are two types that come to mind for me. There are ones that I got when I was little that were like in like the little tent, and like you pull it out and like they just had one color, and like they're all kind of like regular butter brown cookies. And there was another that was like pink and white. They were like frosted. And I don't know which brand she's talking about.
I'm
like,
aware of animal crackers, but they're not really a thing here. So I mostly know about them through osmosis. Things like the Simpsons episode where Homer eats an out-of-date one and gets a free holiday to Africa.
You might call them animal biscuits.
That is true, but we might. I don't think we do, but We do have crackers. Crackers are still their own separate thing here.
And to be fair, it makes no sense why we call them animal crackers. Like
They're not crackers.
They're not crackers.
Maybe you used to crack open the package.
Oh, the packaging. So maybe the animals aren't in cages anymore, because that seems like something that would be done. So it doesn't seem like super animal cruelty.
That would make sense.
Okay, animals aren't in cages anymore. Lock it in.
With confidence, they took the bars off and let them out of the cages.
So when I initially wrote this question and I tested it with Waco, the original answer I had is there's no longer a string on the box. Every Animal Crackers box had a string across the top. Now it's a cardboard handle. And the reason that they did that is because they intended them to be kind of used as Christmas ornaments so you could hang them on trees. What you did for the rest of the year, no idea. But Waco said they took the bars off the cages. They let the animals out. And I was like, did they do that the same year? Turns out they did do it the same year. So both of those answers would have been correct. You all are correct.
Zahkia, you're carrying me beautifully.
It's like a game of chicken in the pool. He's got his legs over her shoulders from behind.
I guess because they used to come in like big tins or boxes, and then they made these little boxes. I'm like, so it was just a strange idea that you had for Christmas that you just did for 100 years before you're like, oh, well, maybe we should not do this anymore.
There's no way anybody's ever put an animal cracker package on their Christmas tree as a decoration.
Yeah, why?
Oh, I guarantee you that has been done.
Okay.
It's probably
like Barnum himself probably tried to sell it that way, and they just kept doing
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, PETA, specifically about the bars coming off the boxes, this is right after PETA had really pressured Barnum and Bailey's circus, and then they're like, hey, maybe you should also. I have opinions about PETA and the damage that they do. But they're like, hey, let's just do this crusade where we take the bars off of the Animal Crackers packaging. Like, okay, cool.
Because we do want all of the deadly animals to run free whenever they are near people. Absolutely.
Like, cool.
Yeah.
That's well worth your time, man. So your next category in the round is another sports question.
Sports?
Carmela wrote this game for me right now. I feel like there's a lot of music and a lot of sports, and not so much TV and movies.
I did do quite a bit of TV and movies in here too. All right, so what team is currently going through its longest drought without a World Series win since winning its last one in 1948?
We said the same thing to each other.
Yeah, I think we should lock in.
Yeah.
All right, we're locked.
Addie, this annoys you?
No, it annoys me. I feel like I've heard people talking about this lately, because I feel like the reason this question is being asked is because it's changed, because it was somebody and now it's someone else.
I feel like this has changed a lot in like the past 20 years or so. Like, people are breaking their droughts all over the place. So I'm thinking Pennsylvania for some reason. Like, there's something that's saying like the Pirates to me, or the Phillies. And there's something about the Pirates, like, I can't think of them being good in a really long time. So I'm not a big baseball person, but yeah.
I'm happy to go with that, because I'd basically be throwing out a baseball team that isn't one of the two or three I know that have absolutely won series recently.
Okay, cool.
Trust you.
And you know what? It's a tie back to Pirate Ninjas. So.
Hey, exactly. Maybe that's as good a logic as any.
Yeah. Lock it in, Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right? Jonathan and Eric.
So a few years ago, there was a series between the Cubs, who hadn't won since 1908, and everybody's making a big deal, and the team with the second longest drought at the same time was the team that they were playing. They hadn't won since 1948, and that was the soon-to-be known as Cleveland Guardians.
This is the first season, I think, that they are using that name, the Cleveland Guardians. They're actually playing the Rays today, Jonathan.
Actually, I just realized that game's got to be over by now. If they beat the Rays, then the Rays are out. We're about to find out.
So I'm stumped, because here's the thing. I lived in the Cleveland-ish area from 1998 for a little bit, and they were good then. But yeah, they didn't They didn't actually win.
They've been a few times since they've won, but they haven't actually won since they beat the Boston Braves.
It is the top of the 12th inning. It is 0-0. This game is intense. Let's finish so I can watch. Come on. Let's get done with this. I want to watch this game.
Jonathan wants to kick Eric and I off so he can go and watch the baseball.
I get it.
All right. Well, your last category before the gauntlet is Tropic of Cancer.
Okay.
Tropicana Field. Got it.
Starring Uma Thurman, Fred Ward, and Maria de Medeiros. What 1990 film, based on a 1986 book of the same name, was the first film to receive the NC-17 rating?
1986 book or 1980 book?
1986 book. And your category was Tropic of Cancer. And writing this question is also how I found out that Fred Ward died earlier this year.
Little tear rolls down my cheek. It is sad. Let's lock that in, Jonathan. Yeah, I was 18 in 1990 when it came out, so the NC-17 would have been fine. I wouldn't have paid attention to it.
All right, we'll lock in.
Yeah, this is difficult. Yeah, so things mentioned in our chat, like I there's a Uma Thurman movie or like around that time, like Dangerous Liaisons, and I know that wasn't written in 1986. But I know Uma Thurman was in that. And there's another movie that I can think of that she was in at that time, but I am absolutely blanking.
Carmela's done a great job in this game, unfortunately, of writing about all sorts of things I know nothing about.
So for Uma Thurman, I can think of Dangerous Liaisons, Pulp Fiction, Gattaca, but none of those are it. So Caribbean Queen.
Yeah, go for
Sharing the same dreams.
It's not a lockout.
Can be there's one.
Unfortunately,
No
got
more
nothing here.
love on the run. Yeah, Caribbean Queen. Lock it in. Got no idea.
All right.
We also couldn't think of an Uma Thurman movie that fit the bill, so we just named what felt like an early movie that we thought was NC-17 and said Children of a Lesser God.
Tropic of Cancer is a book by Henry Miller.
Miller's the name of the guy we were trying to think of.
And so this movie has to do with Henry Miller. Fred Ward actually plays Henry Miller. This is Henry and June. It's about Anais Nin's relationship with Henry and June Miller.
Star sign Cancer is in June. It's my brother's sign. Okay.
So at the end of the sixth round, Eric and Jonathan are in the lead with 165. Zahkia and Addy have 135. Your gauntlet category is secretarial pool.
Secretarial pool?
Yep, secretarial pool.
Pool? P-U-P-O-L.
P-O-O-L. Secretarial pool.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if that was pull or pool, but pool. All right.
Yeah, let's lock that in, Jonathan.
All right, our wagers locked in.
Addy, I like your style.
Yeah, we'll go that. We're locked in.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All wagers are locked in. Your first question in the gauntlet for secretarial pool. In the 2002 film Secretary, has Maggie Gyllenhaal in the titular role. Who is the actor that plays the lawyer opposite her and who was also in Pretty in Pink and Boston Legal?
Ooh.
It autocorrected.
Yeah, if we're both thinking the same thing, we should go with it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll lock in.
Our answer is locked in.
Your second question. Pete Buttigieg is currently serving in President Biden's cabinet as the secretary of what department?
Oh, I got meows on this one.
We are locked in.
All right, we'll lock that in.
And your last question in the gauntlet. Madam Secretary is a CBS television series starring Téa Leoni. And among its executive producers is what 5-time Oscar-nominated actor with a distinctive and often parodied voice?
5-time
Oscar-nominated actor
Nominated.
with a distinctive and often parodied voice.
Addy, you good to lock that in?
Yes, I'm good to lock that again. Yeah, we're locked in.
All right, we're locked in.
In the 2002 film Secretary, who played opposite of Maggie Gyllenhaal? Let's start with Zahkia and Addy.
We said James Spader.
Okay.
And I said Spider because I autocorrected it. We also said James Spader.
Pete Buttigieg is currently the secretary of what cabinet position? Jonathan and Eric.
We relied on our Canadian to come up with our answer because I know nothing about what happens in current America.
Which is kind of funny. And I recall hearing something about him looking to improve the public infrastructure for transportation. I believe he's the Secretary of Transportation.
All right, Zahkia and Addy.
Well, Zahkia was not going to be missing this one.
Yeah, he's my sister's boss.
Well,
the answer is transportation.
Okay.
All right.
Nice job, Eric.
and last but not least, who is the 5-time Oscar-nominated actor who was one of the executive producers for Madam Secretary, Zahkia and Addy?
Well, we weren't 100% on this one, but he's probably got a few Oscar nominations to his name, and he's certainly got a very distinctive and very much parodied and imitated voice. We guessed Christopher Walken.
Yeah, and we guessed Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson was our answer.
Let's go back. We'll give the answers. Zakia, it's very funny that you were going back and forth between Andrew McCarthy and James Spader because I get them confused with all the time. Literally all the time. Because I have current day James Spader in my head, but when I think about 80s James Spader, it's always Andrew McCarthy that I think about.
Yeah.
But you are correct that Andrew McCarthy was in Pretty in Pink. He was not in Boston Legal, though. However, James Spader was in both of those things, and he was also the lawyer in Secretary. So James Spader is the answer there. Pete Buttigieg is the current Secretary of Transportation. Shout out to Zakia's sister, I guess.
Really great. Shout out to the Canadian education system for Eric knowing his American crap.
Yeah, that was one that I actually knew as well, funnily enough.
He's in the news quite a bit, Jonathan.
I avoid the news quite a bit, Carmela.
Smart man. Very smart
right.
man.
And then the only question where you guys differed is the third one. So Madam Secretary had quite a few executive producers, but this 5-time Oscar-nominated actor has a distinct and often parodied voice, and that is Morgan Freeman.
Oh, yeah, no, that's good. That's real good. Okay.
So both teams missed the gauntlet. So let's see what's going on with wagers. Zahkia and Addy, what was your wager?
Well, we weren't totally sure really what to do. We thought you might try and go for the lockout, 30 points down. We also thought just go a couple over that just in case and hope that maybe you miss it in bet zero or get it in bet zero. We bet 32.
32?
Oh, no,
All right.
okay.
So you will end with 103.
So that
Jonathan
means if
and
we
Eric.
wagered 62 or less, then we win. And 63 would be... No, I'm bad at math. Something like that. Anyway, we wagered 29. We were gonna make you beat us. There's no way we were gonna give ourselves the loss on this one if we missed it. You're gonna take the win.
With 136 to 103, your winners today are Eric and Jonathan. Great job.
Good game, guys. Good game.
Okay.
Well done.
Well done. All right.
Zahkia, you unfortunately, I just wasn't much help here for much of this, but that's just the way it falls.
You are fantastic, and I just got to meet you and play with you, and that's the true win here.
I was really happy to get. I was really hoping because you're the one for the main cast who I haven't actually really properly cast yet. So I was really hoping that we would get to play together.
The friends we made along the way are the true joy. All right. Well, before we go, we'd like to give everybody a chance to do shout-outs and promote causes that they care about. Eric, you're on the winning team, so we'll start with you.
Well, I would just say, obviously, the whole COVID situation is, not quite behind us. Certainly up here in Canada, it's not. So get a booster if you can, and to protect yourself, to protect your friends, to protect your family, and protect the people that can't protect themselves. Do what you can.
All right. Agreed. And Addy, over to you.
I'd like to shout out to a group of people who I know they're not really on social media or anything, but I know that they listen to the show. I know they love it. Jonathan, you and I met them at Franklin Hall at SpokerCon, and I got to join them for trivia a week later. The team, the Pinchers and the Crushers, Nick, Christine, Joey, Charlie, and all the others from that group, and all the people who listen to this show every week, but you're not necessarily part of this sort of big online bubble who goes to the events or is in the Facebook group, but you still listen to the show, you still love it. We still do our part to bring you what joy we can every week, and you keep us going. So thank you so much to you guys. You're awesome.
Wow, love that. Totally agree. It was absolutely awesome to meet totally new people that we did not know existed before a couple of weeks ago. So that was a lot of fun. And that is going to wrap us up. So for Addy, for Eric, for Zahkia and Carmela, my name's Jonathan. This has been episode number 398. We are on the road to 400, and we are almost there. We can see the station in the distance. We will see you next week, because this is Trivial Warfare, where it's not just trivia, it's war. Bye, everybody.
Adios.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, join the community, and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit ProPodcastingServices.com.
All right. Oh, ow.
That sounded painful.
You okay?
I dropped my phone on my balls.
Oh, God. Okay.
Okay.
That did not feel good.
Jonathan, you're falling apart.
You got to bound down.
There was a team at the 2018 Geek Bowl, and their team name was Letters to CeeLo. So as a reference to the band that was going to be playing, because you know who the musical act is before you go, and so they're like Letters to CeeLo. And I think they gave the band like a T-shirt, because they had shirts made of one of those shirts. So now they have a shirt that says Letters to CeeLo.
Is there any rumor is there any truth to the rumors that the band gave it back and said "F you"?
I don't know, but if we're gonna bring this back around, Bruno Mars is the one who wrote that song. So
There it is.
Connected.
Tenuous connections for the win.
Yep.